All right, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to Bali Unplugged podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BaliPropertyFinanced.com, where we reduce the barriers to entry so you can own your own first property business in Bali safely and securely. Don't forget to stick around to the end of the podcast because our guest may or may not have a little gift for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bali Unplugged, your local guide to understanding the Balinese business landscape from tourism, property, experiences, and everything else you need to know about coming to Indonesia. Now, I have a very special guest on today, Miss Cassandra Michael. Please give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Cass. So tell us a bit about yourself, Cass, and what you do, and a bit of your history.
Yeah. Hi, Chris. Thank you for having me here. So I am an intuitive trauma healer and relationship coach. I help my clients break free from unhealthy relationship patterns by healing childhood wounds and traumas. I'm basically very passionate about enabling as many people as possible to repair the relationship that they have with themselves so that they can in turn have the fulfilling and reciprocal relationships that they desire. So that's one of my passions, as well as traveling the world. And that's how somehow I found myself in Bali. And just creating beautiful memories and adventures and exploring this world.
Ah, great. So how did you come to land on wanting to do this particular business? Like, what inspired you to do this?
Good question. So it was more based on personal experiences. And so before doing this work, I was actually working in marketing. My last corporate job, let's say I was the head of marketing. I was in Amsterdam at the time, working for this whole company. But my soul was just dying. There was something inside of me that just said, like, this is not it. This is not what I'm meant to be doing here. This is not my purpose or my dharma. And
dharma. Yeah.
For as long as I can remember, I've always been I was always very intrigued with, spirituality and mysticism, personal development, psychology, and relationships. I was always very drawn to, connection and creating beautiful relationships in my life. And relationships had always been a challenge and a struggle. And so, I found myself in these dynamics, with emotionally unavailable partners, push and pull dynamics, anxious avoidant, narcissistic. I've probably navigated any relational dynamic you can imagine.
Wow. I feel like you're like a NASCAR driver, just like dodging and weaving.
Yeah. And so through these experiences, and probably there was like sort of this epiphany or just this light bulb moment. Maybe it was like already 7 years ago, where I was in my last toxic relationship. And I just said, what is going on here? Why do these patterns keep appearing? And I left that relationship, and then I embarked on really doing the inner work and figuring out how my beliefs, my traumas, my patterns were creating these relationships in this reality. And around that point as well is when I quit my job in marketing and transitioned into coaching, and also became nomadic and started traveling the world. So about 7 years ago, it was that
was the
changing point where I sort of burnt everything to the ground, my old life, and embarked on something.
What do they say? You burn the boats. Figuratively speaking, you burn the boats. You're like, okay, that's it. It's the turning point. No looking back. I'm gonna head out to on this adventure. So Cass, I want you to bring it back to all the way back to the beginning. When you were young and your formative years. Tell us, what was it like growing up, and what were the experiences that shaped you, and what was those experiences that contributed to you having your success that you have today?
Good question. So I am Greek, but I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa. And
That explains the
so
South African accent.
it comes and goes. I think I've lost it with all the travel and throughout the years, but there's some words that are still there, maybe.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was born there. I spent my first 10 years in Johannesburg, and at 10 years old, we moved with my family to Greece. So my parents are Greek, and I think that like moving, it was such a radical change, right? From South Africa going to Greece. I actually barely spoke Greek as well. So it was a really big transition. I got put into a Greek school immediately. And
Massive
I think
culture
that
shock.
sort of hardwired me to be comfortable and resilient with change, and maybe to a certain degree to seek it. And so I think from a very young age, I was primed to be like, yes, changing cultures and countries and, environments.
Oh, I love
So
it.
that change, it was very hard, like the transition. But I definitely think it's something that formed this resilience and curiosity within me. And also sometimes what I experience is like I have like a gypsy soul. I need to
Love it.
I need to be moving around. There's this inner restlessness, like this. Yeah, like I just need new things, new people, new situations. It really fuels me. So that's one thing that also led me, I'm sure, to nomadism.
Yeah, and I assume did you when you became a digital nomad or a nomad, did you find that it was easy for you? Because obviously when you pick up and start to travel, you have to literally let go of many material possessions because you can't bring a house, you can't bring a car, you can't bring all these clothes or furniture. Did you find that an easy transition to let go of these things, or was it something that you had to consider?
Yeah, at the time, like, and still to this day, I'm not very attached to material possessions. I know that that's not really what brings true happiness and contentment. And I learned that at a very young age. And so for me, what brought way more happiness was, travel and exploration
And
and that sense
experience.
of adventure and, working on myself, investing in myself, this self-expansion, let's say, and growth.
Yeah.
So that was not hard. After being on the road for many years, though, that did get tiring, and I was like, I just want a base. I want my house, and certain things like, I want my bed that I know is comfortable, my pillow that's my pillow, having my own towels. It's like these simple things that you take for granted. And then after being on the road for so many years, you're like, okay, I'm super ready now for those homey vibes and some stability.
Yeah.
And just like a little sanctuary. So
and why do you think that that became the crux of, like, moving from nomadism to maybe settling down? Why do you think that occurred?
I mean, everything in life has pros and cons, right? And I think while moving around and being nomadic seems very glamorous, and it is a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, it's also, it takes a lot of energy, and it's not for everyone. So like, switching locations, meeting people, trying to figure out how things work, finding housing. It's like every time you're starting over and you're spending so much energy on just like the basics.
The constant revolving of different environments, and new friends,
Exactly. And so it really depends on what you're in, like what your goals are, what your intentions are, that period of your life. And so, if you're looking maybe to really grow your business or to start a family or things like that, probably moving around all the time is not the most conducive.
Definitely not. So are you at a stage where you're feeling like nestled in, and Bali is the place that you've chosen? Is that how it is?
Yeah. So actually, like part of my nomadic adventures was also this like underlying feeling of searching for home. And I did go to many places around the world sort of looking for home. And out of all those spots, I chose Bali, indeed. And it's the place that just, felt the closest to that, let's say, that feeling of home that I was seeking.
It felt most comfortable to be like, yeah, this is something where I belong, and I can provide, a certain amount of value that people are really looking for, instead of trying to force your way through and being uncomfortable in something completely different. Oh.
Yeah. And I mean, you've probably experienced this: when the island fully chooses you and welcomes you, then you stay. It's like when Mama Bali says, yes, you can stay on the sacred land.
Yeah.
You stay. And not everyone
kick you off.
Yeah, not everyone's allowed to be here.
This is so true, because I've heard this so many times that, like, if you belong on the island, like, you'll stay, but like if you've got a bad vibe, like, literally the island will find a way to get rid of you, which is crazy, because, like, it's trying to, just thinking about it, it's like, there's a sense of, how do you say, like, not serendipity. I don't know if I'm a bit lost for words for like how I'm gonna phrase this, but
karma,
karma, dharma, yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I think it's just like, for whatever reason, energetically, right? It's like types of frequencies, and for whatever reason, not everyone is welcome here. And I've also heard of people that have spent a long time in Bali, and then at some point the island will also churn them out. It's like, okay, you're done, time to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's different ways it can appear, but yeah, Bali is definitely, it's a vortex. They call it a purification portal. The energy here is very intense and special. And so for me, it's like, I don't know if you've had this experience, Bali will show you your greatest fears, all of your shadows, all of the things that you don't want to look at, so that you can look at them, transmute them, and grow. So this is a place for expansion and growth, but not for the faint of heart.
Wow. You know what? I was just thinking, right, as you're talking about this whole, vortex portal, I literally, as you're speaking, I looked up whether Bali is on a ley line, and it is. I'm not sure if you're familiar what ley lines are.
Yes, it's on a ley line for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Which is crazy. I had no idea. That makes sense. And I guess it's also the reason why a lot of people come here and find their tribe. And I've found that having a lot of conversations, especially today, that the biggest reason why people come to Bali is because of that community, because of the vibe, because they're looking for the tribe that they've always looked for in life. And some people come all the way across the globe from like Latin America, you coming from South Africa and Greece. And it's something that stuck out to me with a conversation I had with Pablo earlier today. And he mentioned that in his culture, that if he felt so uncomfortable to mention anything that's entrepreneurial or something new or something innovative, people will be like, he didn't want to say these things to people, because otherwise they'll pull you down. He didn't want to be religious. He didn't want to talk about anything spiritual, because people would be like, yeah, are you talking about that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And do you feel also like that it's easier for you to be open about these sort of topics compared to, being at home in Greece or South Africa, that you could have these conversations outside of a country like that?
100%. And this is a big reason, maybe the number one reason I chose Bali as home, is that sense of community. So I really found my tribe here. I was also very fortunate to be here during the second lockdown, during the pandemic, and it was incredible. And
I heard it was really good.
Whoever I was meeting, right, was like living here, and I really got to plug into the expat community. And I would say my tribe is also part of what they call the conscious community. Not that I love that term, but let's say the people more into spirituality, personal development, and those types of things. And so, yeah, on the one hand, there's that community where I can be my full weird witchy self, because I definitely have that part to me.
The Wiccan in you.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, the intuitive, the psychic, the healer. And then I also have the business side, right? And so while I love to connect to those realms, I'm also very much grounded in this reality and focused on like building my business and creating beautiful things. And Bali is great for, yeah, meeting these inspiring entrepreneurs and people who are doing big things, great things. And yeah, you just get more inspired, and being in that energy, right, is conducive for more expansion and growth, because, you know, like they say, you become the average of the 5 people closest to you. Yeah, I think that's very true. And that's another reason I'm here, is to be in that energy, right, of innovation, of inspiration, of growth. Whereas back home, yeah, in Greece, it's like Greece, beautiful for vacation, you know, chilling on the beach. But then indeed, once you start speaking to people about, you know, money and abundance and growth, and that mindset is not there.
It's strange. It's strange.
And people will look at you like, wow. And yeah, like you said with your friend, you know, they'll look at you and you'll feel bad to even speak about maybe your growth or your accomplishments.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask Cass, because like you're very well versed with, you know, sort of esoteric stuff that's very deep. And you talk about a lot with energies, and that I've been really sort of delving into, you know, reconnecting with my intuition, so to speak. And do you find that this has played like an important pivotal role in terms of your ability to do business outside of the realms of course, you're doing your spiritual stuff here, but doing other businesses such as, you know, property and whatnot? Do you find that's something that's been really helpful?
Yeah, well, I think when we're connected to our intuition and our guidance, right, we're able to make decisions that are more in alignment. And so, yeah, I mean, especially with regards to land, I remember initially I had this idea of just like purchasing a small plot of land with my cousin. And like when we were discussing with the owner, like everything in my body said like, no, don't do it. This is not the thing. And then anyways, things progressed, and I ended up, well, I didn't sign for that deal, thank God. But anyways, it's a long story of what happened, but I really got redirected. It's like, no, this is not for you. And then I found the land that was, and from just buying like a small piece of 300 square meters, I ended up like securing this huge plot of land, finding investors, and going from building only my small little villa to developing potentially 4 to 6 villas. So the universe had other plans for me. And yeah, I think once we do the work, this is why I'm so passionate. Another reason why I'm so passionate about my job is like when we're releasing traumas and really regulating our nervous system, and when we're able to fully like reconnect with ourselves and our bodies, then we're quiet enough to hear the guidance, because the guidance is always there. And it's going to guide you in all areas, right? And of course, I use it in my coaching. And that's why I believe one reason my sessions are so effective is because I just know where to take the people. Like I just get guidance. Like I follow my intuition. We go straight to the root cause, right? Or maybe you meet someone and your
like
guidance.
You don't need any preparation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful. This is giving me goosebumps talking about this, because, you know, I was just talking about this with, you know, with a couple of others, and like everyone's saying the same things. And you having spoken to you, like it really just confirms this. You know, it's definitely resounding. and I wouldn't say confirmation bias, but definitely something that people like are gelling to when they come to Bali. So
something that people are what? Sorry.
That people are gelling to when they come here. This is something that
Yeah.
that attracts them towards coming to Bali, and this is why it's like a massive melting pot of entrepreneurs who, doesn't matter what business it is, they feel comfortable enough to do what they're doing. At the same time, not needing to be able to prepare, because leading up to the launch of the podcast and having all the preparations, the first couple of ones that I did, I had like a bunch of notes, and I was like, I feel so much more uncomfortable with this. So I ditched the notes after the second one. I'm like, you know what? Let's just have a regular conversation. It just feels so much more easier. And it's actually turned out so much more better than I thought it had. That it could have been. So yeah, which is good.
Yeah, flow is always better, right? And just like tapping into the energy present and then the inspiration that comes through. It's usually more engaging and authentic, I find.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So tell me, so it seems like it's definitely a nesting ground for you. What is on the horizon for you, Cass?
So on the horizon, let's see. I mean, on the one hand, as I mentioned, I've got my coaching business. So I'm launching my program again on healing anxious attachment. It's an online group program that's starting April 4th. And I tend to run those, maybe twice a year. So I have regular cohorts. I'm also relaunching my membership called Secure. So for those who are aware of attachment theory, attachment styles, Secure is all about moving from an anxious attachment style to secure so that you can thrive in your relationships. And that's also available on my website. And
nice.
I also host upcoming retreats and workshops in Bali. And so my next retreat is April 19th, and it's called Metamorphosis. It's all about shedding the layers so that we can step into our full authenticity. So that's like on the coaching
That sounds so magical.
Yes.
Metamorphosis, I love it.
Yeah, I'm super excited, and it's going to be a beautiful combination of the deep healing work, but also exploring Bali and having a lot of fun.
Oh, I love it.
So it's we're going to be looking at releasing shame, trauma, conditioning, anything that's really stopping us from fully stepping into our light and tapping into our authenticity and our authentic expression. And so we're going to be looking at self-discovery, boundaries, authentic relating. I'm even going to bring like a voice coach to do a voice activation. We're really going to learn to start using our voice, expressing emotions, just allowing all of ourselves to be seen, right? Because I think society, trauma, conditioning, a lot of us have this like messaging that says, okay, we have to stay small in order to stay safe. And we melt and merge into what we think other people want us to be. And so Metamorphosis is all about breaking free from that and really stepping into who we truly are beyond conditioning. It will be like a reclamation of self.
That's right. Really, really tapping into the ether and finding, that we aren't bound by other people's perceptions, and really much more than, what we feel other people should, perceive us. I love it. Okay, cool. So that's what's on the horizon. So is this program, is this open to like the general public in Bali, or is, like, let's say for example someone wanted to travel to Bali from Australia, is that something that's open to, or from other countries?
Yeah, of course. I've got participants flying in from different parts of the world. So if someone is abroad or in Bali, they're welcome. And right now there are 2 spots left, and I'm also offering them at a 30% discount as a flash sale for the last 2 spots. And so if
amazing.
Feels called.
So how does what do you call it? Accommodation and travel work? They obviously book their own flights, and like, do they have to find a place that's near the spot, or how does that work?
So everything's included. There's accommodation at this gorgeous eco lodge in Ubud, and the retreat includes workshops, which mostly I'm going to be facilitating, and then I'm also bringing some incredible guest facilitators on board. Their activities. So because I've been living in Bali for a while, I'm taking participants to some of my favorite spots. So we're going to have an incredible spa experience. I can guarantee you've never experienced something like that before. It's a type of sauna party. I'm just going to phrase it like that. And a sauna party in the jungle.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be like water purification ceremony, waterfalls, temples, new moon ceremony, just like a lot of beautiful activities and like island exploration, along with, the healing workshops.
How many days does that last for?
It's 8 days. And I'm also going to be taking participants to some amazing restaurants. We're not just going to be eating at the resort. So it's a really beautiful combination of like
full package,
travel and fun. Yeah.
And you get to meet new people and hang out with them for eight days. Oh, that's amazing. That sounds like such a blast.
Exactly. And now with the discount, it's like really a crazy deal. So all of that is just $1,820. So yeah, if anyone feels called.
And let's say if people didn't have the outlay for the for the upfront, do you have like payment options or facilities that will allow like installments?
Right now, no, because the retreat is in 1 month, and so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if it was early bird, it would be a different one.
If it was a couple of months ago, yes, the payment plans were available. And for those who maybe feel called to do my online program, maybe they're not in Bali yet, or the topic of healing anxious attachment resonates. For my online programs, for my one-to-one coaching, I do offer payment plans.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, and obviously that'll be the evergreen part of the podcast episode, because that means for the people that are watching after the event that's coming up, they can still avail of this online coaching.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, they can check my website. I always have different offers and programs running.
Great. Oh, Cass, it has been amazing talking to you. Is there anything that you'd like to share, with anyone who's considering moving to Bali, or even, looking to start a business? Just something that, you can give sort of some advice.
So I think maybe the advice I would give is Bali is a very special, sacred place. And when coming here, sometimes the energies can be very intense, especially if you're energetically sensitive or a little bit more attuned, but I think for everyone, right? And a lot of people have this experience of like being in a washing machine. It's like emotions are coming up, things are coming up. And so it's not a coincidence that they call Bali a purification portal. And so if people are here and they're experiencing these ups and downs, and maybe they're being presented with some fears or, traumas or difficult emotions, to just know that, there's a huge benefit to that, and to just embrace the emotions that are coming up. And this is part of the medicine of this island. And so instead of resisting it, just surrendering and seeing what's there, and knowing that the more we go into the difficult emotions and situations, and then we will allow them, then they will be transmuted, and we will become stronger, and we will be able to expand and grow through that.
It's like letting life be the guiding force to the transformation that you need.
Yes. And I mean, Ubud means healing. Again, that's not coincidental. So the island will definitely awaken different things within you, and for those of you who are, wanting to come. And so I think it's like really embracing the good and quote unquote the bad. I don't think it's bad. It's just, that full spectrum of life, and riding those waves, because there's a lot of growth on the other side.
Nice. Oh, Cass, it has been absolutely a blast having you on. Is there any parting words you'd like to give?
Just one more thing I'd like to add when you asked about what projects are on the horizon. So I spoke about my coaching. I also have my real estate project coming up. And so very soon I'll have my pitch deck ready and some gorgeous villas that will be on sale in Uluwatu. Yeah, all I can say, the energy of the land is incredible. It's been checked. The villas will be, 2 floors, 2 bedrooms, rooftop with jacuzzi and sea view. I just saw the designs from the architects. They look incredible. So yeah, we're preparing now the pitch deck, and very soon we'll be starting the sales, the off-plan sales. So
very nice. Very nice. Oh, I love what you got going on. So is that Bingin, Padang Padang, Nyang Nyang?
It's Pechatu, so it's sort of in between like Savaya and Nyang Nyang.
Got you. Yeah.
It's close to Alila. It's close to Alila Villa. So yeah, very beautiful, like forested area, but still super close to everything. So like Bingin is 8 minutes, Nyang Nyang is 8 minutes or even less. Ungasan is 4. So it's like a sort of very central spot.
Nice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending. Please give it up for Cass. Cass, thank you so much for being here and blessing us with your presence.
Thank you so much, Chris.
And we'll catch you guys later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for tuning into the Bali Unplugged podcast. This episode was sponsored by BaliPropertyFinance.com, where we reduce your barriers of entry so you can easily acquire a property business in Bali.